for interrupting, guys. We're going to talk about the revival of the CPUSA. Looks like it's happening, guys. Ron Paul's in the chat. It's happening. It's happening. Here we go. The time has come. We're getting back into the electoral arena. Are you ready to vote for a communist? The problem is that right now, this is a bit clickbait. Who are these communists? Let's see. The site design isn't terrible. Site design isn't terrible. People are looking for more fundamental solutions to the problem of everyday life. And the environmental crisis. Part of the discussion party building this year, we propose including the discussion on running communist candidates. Okay. These are going to be the points they're going to be giving. We make a unique contribution to combating crises faced by people looking for answers. Capitalism cannot solve our society's fundamental problems, as the last election demonstrated. People's movement has propelled victories that laid the basis for creating programs that improve the lives of the working class. More people are looking at socialism and rejecting anti-communism. This is a big thing that the CPUSA is paying attention to, and which is spoken. It's actually responsible for a lot of newfound interest in the CPUSA. But the CPUSA needs to be wary and realize that the element in question is coming from a profoundly petite bourgeois, professional managerial element that doesn't have much to do with the American working class. And here you go, the DSA. These people, if you allow these people to define the CPUSA, you're going to destroy anything about the CPUSA that has a fighting chance. Remember who this party was formed by. Let's go back to the history. Our Revolution, Independent Socialist, Working Families Party. This was actually AOC's opponent. Joe Crowley was running under this party. So you at local level, scaring the hell out of the ruling class. You haven't been doing a good job of that, though. And they haven't been doing that either. Do a study of where these candidates have won. This is important. But that also comes with self-criticism. I implore you, when you do this study, also have self-criticism about whether that reflects, rather than the viability of these areas for socialist candidates, the class nature of these organizations and the need to have a different approach, a different character, a different type of propaganda, a different type of message, so that you can win the former Trump supporters. Yeah, Working Families Party endorsed Warren. Do a study of where these candidates won, but also use that as a levy of criticism. If they're not winning the American working class, don't replace your conception of what the American working class is. Seriously hold them to that as a point of contention and as a point that the Communist Party USA can use to distinguish itself from them, to succeed where they fail. That's very important. Approach our campaigns as serious campaigns to win, beyond just to educate. I like this a lot. What is it? Educate, agitate, organize. The issue is that it's usually just agitate, 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 and educate. So, I like this. Serious campaigns to win, not just educate or make a statement for purposes of propaganda. I like that. Best candidates come out of the struggle in the community and aligns with our partners. Project advanced solutions, but also very practical questions of people's daily lives and needs. I like that. I really like that. I think they're learning from China. What do you guys think in the chat? I think they're learning from China. I think they're learning from China. This is super important. Very practical questions of people's daily lives and needs. This is a good direction. Good direction. Denise emphasizes that you have to solve the problems of potholes, trash collection. Excellent. I love this whole thing. I love this paragraph. This gets Infrared's endorsement. I love this. This is based. Yeah, but this is the Communist Party. It's not the PSL. This is the Communist Party, okay? And they're formulating it in a very simple way. I don't see any moralizing tone in this paragraph. I don't see any bullshit. The youth are pro-China and is inspired by their example. I hope those youth are not coming from the DSA perspective, because this party needs to be different from the DSA if it's going to be anything. Do they say how to join them? Yes, they do. There's a button right here. I'm not endorsing you to join anything. If you want to join, go on their website, and there's a button right here to join. There's a button here to donate. But I'm going to fairly give you my criticisms and what I think are the strengths. So I'm going to point out what I think are weaknesses of the party right now and what I think are strengths. What they're saying in this paragraph, if they take it seriously, is a big strength. You need to formulate advanced solutions to very practical questions of people's daily lives. That's very important to me, okay? Collective discussion in party on national, district, club level, how to run, where to run, school board, water commission, Congress, importance of collectively reaching conclusions about who and where, when to run. This is contentious. I think that a party today, and I know this is a tough issue, needs to recreate democratic centralism. So you don't, my experience is that, and others can contradict it. I stand to be contradicted. I'm not saying I'm God and I'm the only one who experienced matter. But I actually don't think the importance is reaching consensus. I don't think it's possible. I think the importance is reaching conclusions which 40% of people disagree with and still being able to ride by those conclusions without people breaking line. You need democratic centralism. So it's not so much about collectively reaching conclusions as it is about reaching conclusions and having the majority stick with them, even if many of them disagree with that. Okay? That's also important. That's a very important tenet of democratic centralism, you know? About who and when to run, including with our partners in struggle, concentrate on down ballot races. I'm an idiot. What does this mean, down ballot? Which stimulus contested offices in descending order. Oh, okay. Okay, I know what it means now. Sorry. Concentrate on down ballot races. A quick little tidbit, and I know no one cares about my little tidbits, but this is my show. I'm the one on the show right now. So I have the right to say this. Nobody has an obligation to listen. I have the right to say it. Because this is such an aside. Technically, this is a good strategy. But regarding the CPUSA's overall strategy, what the CPUSA is missing is an up ballot strategy. Do I mean a strategy for winning big positions? No, not necessarily. But I just mean to say having a vision and having some kind of position as regards the central and executive power of America. What does a CPUSA state? What is that? What position do you have about the struggle for power at the central level? Because that was the strength of Bernie's movement. Bernie's movement was strong because Bernie, the idea of Bernie, was a guy who represents the American working class at the highest possible seat of power. Or verticality is that's what I mean by verticality. You need to be up on that. You need to have a strong position there. I like this strategy, concentrate on down ballot races, but you also need to have your own vision. You need to have your own up ballot stakes. You need to have verticality, not just horizontality. You understand? You need that verticality. You know what I'm saying? You need that sense of executive power, the thing that can unite and can contest American politics at a national level. That's what you need, CPUSA. Don't just be a local grassroots arm of the Democratic Party machine. You are in a unique position to create a base that can rival the two-party duopoly. Districts think about where and if it's possible to have candidates, how the races elevate the struggle in the area, but also consider a couple races as a national concentration. Flexibility of what line to run on depends on local situation. On Communist Party line as independents in nonpartisan elections. Democrat, but especially in alliance with others. Okay, on Communist Party line as independents in nonpartisan election. Democrat, especially in alliance with others. The most important question is running. Not what line, that is a tactical question. Principled question is the issues. What? I don't really understand this. Hold on. Let me try to understand. But also, consider a couple of races as a national concentration. Flexibility on what line to run on depends on the local situation. On Communist Party line, what are you saying? You're saying that it's permissible to run on a line that's not the Communist Party line, but as independents, as in nonpartisan elections, as Democrat, and in alliance with others? This is stupid, dude. Unless I'm an idiot, this is stupid. Unless I'm a fucking idiot, it sounds like what they're saying is that the most important thing is running and not actually representing the Communist Party. This is a gross deficiency in verticality, in my view. In my view, this is a gross deficiency of verticality. The Communist Party line needs to be adaptable to local situations. I'm not saying have a dogmatic central line with which you impose on every local situation, but this Communist Party line should be adaptable to those local situations. You need verticality because you need to be able to represent the Communist Party as a serious political party in America that can rival the two-party duopoly. So I don't think I agree with this, but I'm not sure what the overall strategy here is as far as this is concerned. The important question is running, not on what line. That is a tactical question. Let me do some criticism here. My issue with calling this a tactical question is that I understand what they're trying to say. Tell the public you're a Democrat, but in reality, you're the Communist Party, and that's giving us power inadvertently, whatever. My issue with that is this sounds a lot like a lot of the elections that we've seen, these progressive politicians getting elected, and so many organizations claim them. Our Revolution claims them, the DSA claims them, And then, but in reality, all they've done is identify with all these organizations. And the progressive candidate turns out, when all is said and done, to be part of the left wing of the Democratic Party. And they have a superficial allegiance to all sorts of fucking labels and lists that in no way pin them down as representing that. That's what happened with AOC, by the way. She was a Justice Democrat, she was a DSA member, and all that kind of shit. The issue with AOC is she didn't rep her party. She didn't rep her organization. If she did that, she would be signaling an actual alternative to the Democrats. It's so important that you rep a Communist Party line, not because of the contents of the line, because of the form of repping the Communist Party independently from the Democrats and from the two-party duopoly. In my view, this is a disastrous strategy, and it may have worked decades ago when, it doesn't matter what line you run on, just give the Communist Party actual power. But the appearance of power, the Communist Party USA needs to read Baudrillard. That guy Baudrillard, right? You need to understand the importance of appearance. You need to read Deleuze and Baudrillard and all those people. You need to understand that repping shit, signaling, and appearance is what is fundamental in the attention economy. Not structural. What is the word? Operational power. Not operational power, which is what you're asking for here, basically. Run as whatever line you want, but be answerable to the Communist Party, I guess. Not operational, structural power, but clout and rep and information. That is what's important today. Baudrillard. Yeah, I don't know how to call it. Criticism. In the subcommittee, questions got raised. Should we run in the Democratic Party? Are we giving up our independence? Our class approach? Democratic Party is a bourgeois party and can't be reformed. It was agreed that we should always emphasize the importance of candidates coming out of struggles in the community. Running in coalition with these. What does that even mean? I need to know what this code's for, because I don't know what this means. Running in coalition with those we have been active with. Example of Denise, who won despite a real red baiting campaign and was defended by the coalition she ran with. I vehemently disagree with this. Basically, she won by the strength of a coalition, despite that she was a communist, because people considered that coalition communist anyway, and it just got bogged down in the tsunami of fucking bullshit. I disagree with this so profoundly. You need the Communist Party, the Communist Party. You need your own independent basis. You cannot dilute yourself in struggles of the community, which render you. It's almost like if you're secretly a furry. You've diluted the significance of being a communist to the same thing as being a fucking furry. You've bogged your shit down and diluted yourself into a left of center coalition, which in the ultimate and final sense is just the fucking left wing of the Democratic Party. That is its real party. This is the disastrous approach. It may help you get candidates elected, but in no way are you making the Communist Party more powerful in doing so. Rather, you're relativizing and diluting the significance of a Communist Party as something separate from the Democrats. You need to have party independence of some kind. It's not you shouldn't use the example of Denise, who won despite a red baiting campaign. She didn't win off the back of the Communist Party. She won off the back of a left-of-center coalition. You shouldn't align yourself with the left-of-center coalition, because this is the left wing of the grassroots left wing of the Democratic Party, which is taking the Democratic Party itself down a road that estranges it from the American working class. Do not go down this road of the DSA, Communist Party. You are supposed to be the party of the American working class, not the party of the psychotic, deranged, professional managerial class. which is what you're talking about when you're talking about the left of center coalitions. You're talking about psychotic, overly socialized, and overly urbanized professional managerial elites who have gone crazy and lost their marbles. Do not go down that fucking road. They don't represent the future. They represent the psychosis of the Democrats. Biden's election has already rendered them irrelevant. They're not going to be around in a few fucking years. You need to create yourself a lasting. Do not be deceived by AOC and all these DSA progressives. They're a passing phenomena. They're going to be gone pretty soon. You need to build your own independent foundation. That's what the Communist Party needs to do. The Communist Party needs to acquire an independent foundation in the American working class. Do not fucking just ride off of the back of coalitions, because these fucking coalitions are dirty Democrat bullshit. Do not get bogged down in this brewing American Civil War. Do not. You need to be a centrist party. A real centrist, in the Stalinist sense centrist. In the 1980s and 1990s, we ran a number of candidates. Every campaign helped to build the working class movement. And the same to build the party. This will be true today. There's no excuse for you, the American Communist Party, to be in such an abysmal shape it is, okay? In the 80s and 90s, and I never heard of them, and nobody I know has ever heard of them. And if that's what built your party, holy shit. You're holding this as your example of shining success to draw from? It's not good, dude. That's not good, dude. Everyone outside of the bubble sees these as your failure, the high point of your failure, actually. You know? It won't be true today, and it wasn't true back then. Here we go with the "what have you done for the left" meme. To be fair, they lost all funding from the USSR in the 80s because they were anti-Gorbachev. Wow. But I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying it, you know. Here's my issue. I'm not trying to downplay the significance of their struggles back then and stuff. I'm just trying to say there seems to be a very clear lack of awareness on part of the Communist Party that right now is your new opportunity. This is not the 80s and this is not the 90s. You have a unique and new opportunity now. There's a fundamental political realignment in America. The political distinctions are breaking down. The American empire is collapsing. We're witnessing the rise of China, which is itself led by a communist party. And this is your moment. This is your 15 minutes of fame. And if you wanted to make it longer than 15 minutes, do not squander it. Because you can become something. You know, this is an opportunity to become something. What is the CPUSA saying here? They're basically saying they're in it for the long game. It's just going to be like the 80s and 90s. We're going to grow ourselves a little bit and we're going to persist. It's not enough. It's time to take risks. It's time to take risks because you're squandering your potential. Results of survey districts. We survey districts to determine exactly where we have elected and appointed officials, and wherever there have been discussions on running candidates in districts. Districts are welcome to discussion. We have several elected and appointed officials who ran and won because they are known in their community and part of the struggle. But are they known for being communists? There's been an informal rather than formal discussion in districts about running. There is recognition of the need to run. Some of who want to run. Recommendations. Okay, let's get down to the 10 recommendations. Oh boy. Let's get down to this. Can you get an interview with the CPUSA managers? I'm open to it. My only issue is that apparently I'm blacklisted by the CPUSA. And that I'm banned from the party. And I'm not allowed to join. So I don't know. Apparently they all hate me. So let's say you're running for office. What's your pitch to the American people? Before I got to the point of running for office, I would have much more of a foundation than pulling something out of my ass. What happened Because I want to tell you that we made enemies before we made friends. We make enemies of leftists. Leftists are in the CPUSA, and they talked a lot of shit about me, and they convinced the CPUSA that I'm no good, basically. Yeah. How do they know they ban you? I don't know it for certain. It's just what I've heard. I've heard the CPUSA has explicitly said, I am forever banned and blacklisted from their party forever. Which is fine. I don't have... I'm not, you know... I don't feel like I'm the one losing out when it comes to that, you know? They ban you because they see you as a threat. I don't think it's that. I think what happened is basically that I made enemies of established leftists, the established leftists. Remember the whole thing about gatekeepers? They're kulaks. So they went to their fellow kulaks and convinced them that I'm the biggest piece of shit ever. And they saw that and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to ban Haas forever. And whatever, I don't give a fuck. But I will say, whoever it is that banned me, I want to address you personally. Whoever it is that banned me from the Communist Party, this brand right here doesn't belong to you. Infrared is going to grow as a platform. We're going to draw more attention to this brand, which means we're going to preponderate more and more about how it's going to be defined into the future. I'm not worried about you banning me or doing whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. But all I'm going to say is, proof is in the fucking pudding. If you can get as popular as me, set up your own fucking platform to define the discourse and define what the CPUSA is going to mean, I welcome you to try and do it. But for now, CPUSA, that meme, CPUSA 2036, that's something being defined here on the Infrared Show. And you're the past and we're the future. You want to prove me wrong? Prove me wrong. As far as I can tell, we are already the reason why a lot of people have joined your party. And that's not going anywhere. Okay? Ban me all you want. Ban me all you want. A lot of people are joining your party just because of me. And they're going to decide ultimately what the party makes of me, not you. Who the fuck banned me? I don't fucking know. Okay, include discussion on running candidates as part of the overall discussion on building the party. Have a goal wherever possible, especially in local elections. There should be a collaboration between the national party and the district club. Possibly concentrate nationally on one or two candidates where we go out and one put research. This is important. This is kind of verticality, what I'm talking about. This is kind of what I'm talking about with verticality, Develop guidelines for how to consider a candidacy and a collective process of deciding how, who, and where to run and carry out the effort. This should include connections to local struggles and relationship building. It should include collaboration between local and national organizations' decision making. Develop a national platform which can be adapted to state/local conditions. School for candidates. Develop guidelines and work with candidates on how to run. This is important. Super important right here. But good luck in developing this. School for national candidates. Develop guidelines and work with candidates on how to run. Voter registration, education, engagement, turnout. Use 2021 to prepare and educate our candidates. It often takes running more than one time to get elected. I feel like they're focusing more on winning just for its own sake rather than strengthening the party's optics. And optics is what matters. Strengthen not only the party operationally and structurally, strengthen the party in terms of its appearance in this information economy and this information age. Strengthen the name of Communist Party USA. We've done that, and I have no experience organizing. I have no experience in politics. I'm a fucking nobody. And we ourselves have made the party's image quite powerful in a way that not a lot of other people are doing. So that's important, okay? I'm not a tanky and I'm not ready to get into the debate. Oh, it's Eugene. What's up? Oh, man. Reestablish progressive public officials, a network of those who hold elected and appointed public office who are in and around us as a way to mutual support and action on policy. Fuck him, he's a little bitch. Who? Who's a little bitch? Me? What did I do? Hold a discussion on voter suppression, which would include question of voter intimidation. Study where the main local elections can be run in. Listen, CPUSA, do not be. Listen, you have an opportunity now because when these local elections come around, the left is gonna get. It's gonna be wiped. Okay? Look, guys. Anyone else getting the heebie-jeebies from this Amazon vote? Does this forebode how it's going to be going forward? You're just going to have the left lose a ton? Because that's what I think too. That's what I think too. I don't got the heebie-jeebies, but I'm just saying, I'm aware of that. I'm aware that seems like what's going on. The CPUSA, do not be taken by surprise by an insight you could derive yourself based on Marxist, materialist, and class analysis, which is what we offer. Do not fucking allow yourself to be taken by surprise when these fucking left of center coalitions you're talking about are basically wiped out and they get the floor wiped with them and they fucking lose big time and bigly, okay? You have the opportunity to be ahead of the game and succeed where they are inevitably going to fail. Because I'm telling you, they are going to fail. I'm telling you, they're going to fail. Biden got elected. The American left is in for a rude awakening. If you pledge yourself with this American left, you're going to share the same fate they are. I'm telling you right now, there's no future for the American left. There's none. You want to know evidence of this? Small evidence, not even the main evidence, but smallest type of evidence. Just look at the way their ideologists, BreadTube, look at how now they have to define themselves exclusively by their opposition to tankies. Look at the explosive growth of this new trend, Reddit R neoliberal. Liberals in America, whether you like it or not, are increasingly becoming right-wing. Liberals in America are wising up to the fact that they're actually fucking liberals in the European sense of the word. So, all of these caveats that BreadTube adds, they're the minority. Majority of liberals in America are Silicon Valley, technocrat-type liberals, Reddit r/neoliberal type liberals. That's the future of the left as it currently exists in America. And you're going to be taken by surprise because the people who are going to lose out the most, I'm going to tell you, this is my prediction. Ready? Here's who's going to lose. Democratic Socialists, and this includes BreadTube and includes other, they're done. They're going to lose the worst. Traditional Trumpers are going to lose the second worst. Traditional Trumpers. Their story is not over. But for now, the first chapter of it is over. Now, the people who are going to gain the most from the transformations at hand are r/neoliberal types. They have the most future. The people who have the most future is this new political realignment where I'm socially liberal, but also economically liberal. That's basically the fucking future of the left in America. Those are the people who are actually going to have a future. Okay? Yang Gang will win next. Well, half of Yang Gang is that. It's just that. Feels bad. Don't say that is the fact, dude. Do not fucking be surprised when it happens, because I've been prepared for that for a long time. That's exactly what's going to fucking happen. Neolibs don't fall. They're not the big enemy, dude. They're not the big enemy because they are literally a fucking self-evident class enemy. Not personal enemy. I like Destiny. He's fine. But on a political level, They don't call themselves socialists and confuse people. They are what they are. They're professional managerials, and their ideological content corresponds to that. The problem we're facing, the reason BreadTube is the main enemy, because in ideological form, they identify with the working class. Socialism, Marxism, communism. They're using all these words, but in actual class content, they're no different than r/neoliberal, besides the aside that they're basically incompetent amateur losers who are in their position they are in life, not because of their class position, but because they're the shitty, incompetent professional managerials, the downwardly mobile failures, right? Who come from that strata, and they feel entitled to that strata, but still come from there. That is why BreadTube's the main enemy, okay? r/neoliberal type people, they're not the main enemy, the neolibs. They're not the main enemy because they're just like Republicans. We know what they are what they are, that's it. BreadTube is the main enemy. The current left in America who are appropriating socialism, communism, Marxism, and all that, they are the main fucking enemy, okay? Just wanted to clarify that. Anyway, let's continue. Maintain the subcommittee on communist candidates as part of the Political Action Commission to help carry out these recommendations. Okay. Sorry, I got congestion. Yeah, they create confusion. One sec. Okay. Sorry. Hold on one sec. Okay. I'm back. All right. So basically, I just now I was just spitting out. You don't want to hear this congestion, and yeah, I was spitting it out. But anyway, I'm glad to see the CPUSA is awakening from its slumber, but I'm concerned that it is hopping on board the left of center coalition, and using this as the source of its vital revival, when in fact it is the defeat of Trump and the defeat of Trump's movement and the fact that many Trumpers are now political refugees that should be the main reason why the Communist Party is being awakened to the call. Because communists, this DSA already exists. Your job isn't to be the DSA with a hammer and sickle. Your job is to be the Communist Party. You should win the working class. You have a lot of political refugees now. You must win them. They must be the foundation of your movement and your party, not the professional managerials, not young people living in the cities, not hipsters, not DSA people. Mainly millennial and older working class people who haven't had contact with BreadTube who can be tapped into? Possible. We can take the Trumpers, the more open-minded ones. Yeah. Why is the CPUSA jumping on a sinking ship? The strange thing is that it's jumping on a sinking ship, but it's also awakening at a very opportune time. So I want to use this as an opportunity to try to speak reason. What do you think of Bill Wright's socialism? This goes back very far, and I fundamentally disagree with it. The Communist Party in America, to me at least, has to fundamentally diverge from constitutionalism. Let me tell you the point of the Communist Party. The Communist Party leaned a little too heavy, in my goal in history, on the we're true American, we're Americanist patriots. America, socialism is Americanism in the 21st century, 20th century, whatever. They lean too heavy on that stuff. The reason the Communist Party has relevance now is because there's a failure of bourgeois democracy, failure of bourgeois formalism, failure of constitutionalism, failure of Bill of Rights, failure of this type of political foundation of America. So the Communist Party must intervene and say, we can make sense of that failure, and we are an alternative to this liberal failure of liberal. This is what I would say. The Communist Party USA must be the antidote to the failure of liberal democracy, not simply add a red coating to liberalism. It must say liberalism has failed. Bill of Rights, Constitution, this is not the foundation of politics. The meaning of proletarian dictatorship must be revived. Revived, yes, in the American context. Revived, yes, without any dogmatism. Revived, yes, without any phrase-mongering on any of that. But nonetheless, there is a wisdom in the phrase proletarian dictatorship that must be learned from. The proletarian dictatorship fundamentally differs from... The proletarian dictatorship cannot be premised formally in terms of a Bill of Rights, in terms of a constitution, in terms of anything like that. There can be no Bill of Rights as far as the proletarian dictatorship is concerned. Party is so small, all it takes is a few thousand people to take it over and make it change course. Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is important I wanted to make. Socialism is common, more prosperous, more democratic USA. Do not lean heavy on this more democratic bullshit. People don't care about being more democratic. This is State Department talking points. No one cares about this. The important thing here is prosperous. More prosperous should be the thing you focus on in terms of optics. Fairer, I guess that works. Prosperous is way more important than democratic. Remember, learn from China. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't include the word democracy or be allergic to it, but you need to emphasize that your type of democracy is qualitatively different than the State Department democracy. So you shouldn't lean heavy on the democracy rhetoric. Not because we're against democracy as communists, because our democracy is different. Our democracy is people's democracy. It's qualitatively different. What I'm talking about is not a dogmatic Marxist dream that I'm trying to impose on reality at the expense of actually getting things done practically. What I'm talking about is actually practical in its significance. American liberal democracy is on the decline. All observers have noted this. This Communist Party has a unique opportunity to intervene here and make meaning of the situation. We make it, right now, 99% of Americans share the work of producing all the products and services of our economy. Work together in person or online. Who works online? This is horrible, dude. This is already terrible optics. What do you mean online? Who the fuck does this appeal to? What do you fucking mean online? This is bullshit. No, they're talking about the pandemic. Who can work through Zoom? That's not a professional managerial. This is fucking stupid, dude. This isn't the working class. You're in a fucking bubble. You're in a fucking bubble, dude. You shouldn't even said this at all. This is stupid. We work in factories and offices. We work in schools and stores. We work in laboratories and hospitals. We work on farms and construction sites. Well, one of these is not like the other. I'll tell you that. One of these is not like the other. Maybe two of them are not like the other. But when it comes to reaping the rewards of this collective labor, things get turned upside down. Okay. Better world is possible. This is a horrible slogan, by the way. In a socialist economy, and the reason it's a horrible slogan is because you're not here to talk about Listen, Americans see past every possible scam that's ever been proposed, and most Americans see this as a scam. Focus on the real world, our world, here and now. Don't talk about a better world. In a socialist economy, things get turned right side up. Not that bad. Listen, ditch this shit about the fucking planet. It's fucking stupid. Ditch it. Ditch this shit about the planet. It's in no working class party should have this anywhere near their optics. We must listen, when you say people and our planet, you're saying what Macron said that caused the fucking yellow vest. You may disagree with that, but that's the objective fucking significance of what you're saying. Planet is virtue signaling toward professional managerials. That's what you're doing. You're virtue signaling for them. Okay? Don't talk about our planet. With the people in the driver's seat, corporate profits would no longer be number one. Instead, the things American people, okay. Enough resources would be free to do many things. Okay, this isn't horrible, but why do you talk about our planet? Do not talk about our planet. Pause, why not explain? Because there's nothing immediate or concrete about this phrase. There's nothing immediate. The thing this connotes is Bill Gates. It connotes nothing. Don't talk about our planet. It's a fucking type of empty virtue signaling that means nothing. Do not have Carl Sagan's ideology in your fucking party. How about that? You mean that the people's US shouldn't have a Bill of Rights? Don't be a Jimmy Carter party. Don't have any of that Jimmy Carter bullshit in your fucking party. If you're a working class party. You mean that the people's US shouldn't have a Bill of Rights above and beyond the political sphere? No, because the economic sphere is beyond the sphere of political right. From a theoretical perspective, this is true, and in actual reality, it's true too. From a common sense perspective. Don't try to politicize what's not political. Don't try to introduce bourgeois formalism to the economy. That's what fucking Vosh does. It's the logical conclusion of that. There should be no new Bill of Rights. We already had a Bill of Rights. We don't need a new one. There's things about reality that are not addressed by bourgeois formalism. If anything, I'm more conservative. If anything, the Communist Party can just say, we will keep the Constitution and Bill of Rights, but there's things that those don't address, and that's where we're going to intervene. And they need to have an overhaul of the judicial system, first of all, so that they can just say you can interpret the meaning differently of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Because that's what it's all about, is interpretation, because they're so fucking vague. It's all about interpretation. It's just some esoteric scholastic bullshit. They can just do that for the sake of legitimacy. If they want the legitimacy, they can just say, we're not going to abolish the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. We're just going to sublate them. We'll keep them intact. We'll preserve them in Washington, D.C. and in the museum. We'll preserve it as our tradition as Americans. But you're not going to pretend that this document binds us from getting what needs to be done. That's what the Communist Party's role has to be. Doing things that are not addressed by the founding documents of American democracy or the American Republic. Get dark mode, please. This is the Communist Party website, dude. This is not Twitter. Socialism equals life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I feel like Marx in the Critique of Gotha program, just in the sense that am I just being nitpicky over shit for theory reasons? Because theoretically, this is a horrific equation. This is not true, dude. One of these is in the realm of bourgeois formalism. The other one represents the sublation of that formalism. You can preserve this in some form, in the same way that China has a people's democracy, and in the same way the Soviet Union had a special Soviet government separate from the party dictatorship and proletarian dictatorship. But don't equate them, because they're not the same. By equating them, you're diluting and neglecting what makes this part of the equation unique and fundamental. The whole point is socialism must be different from this. Socialism, let me emphasize, this is my critique right now of the CPUSA, productive critique. Socialism does not elaborate upon, does not reinterpret the text, the sacred text of the American state. It addresses what that text is unable to address. There lies the decisive significance of socialism, not in just reinterpreting the meaning of the sacred Constitution, but in sublating it all together. Just wanted to say that. In a social society, people would get paid the hard work they do. They would be rewarded for the initiatives they take. The difference, corporate big shots and hedge fund managers could no longer walk. War, racism, sexism, and homophobia would lose their corporate sponsors. This is a stupid sentence. Superficially speaking, all of these things are 100% not corporate. Superficially. Corporations virtue signal about racism, sexism, and homophobia all the fucking time. And you don't really sound any different from them by just superficially talking about these phrases without doing it in a formally different way. Yes, there must be a proletarian position on all of these matters, but you don't sound any different than the bourgeois position on them. You don't distinguish yourself in any meaningful way. And besides, all of these things are qualitatively different. Both of these have in common the fact that they're sexual, so they're related in a cursory way. But how can racism just be put into a sentence with sexism and homophobia? It's qualitatively fucking different. Moreover, how can war be put in the same sentence as all of these things? It's also a qualitatively different issue. Don't be an intersectional party. Don't call yourself the Communist Party when you're peddling intersectionalism. You have dialectical materialism for a reason. It's the Declaration of Independence. Sorry, I'm stupid, dude. I'm a fucking idiot. But the point stands, okay? The point stands. The point stands. The same point stands. Bill of Rights under socialism would be built on the strong foundation. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and equality for all. Well, formally, even the communist parties, even communist states have these formal promises. So I don't care that you're saying this formally, but don't make it clear what you're about as a communist. Don't deceive people, because people will look past it anyway. So be explicit and open about what a communist means. It means you're sublating this stuff, right? It's only formal. It's not in the content of your party itself. Voting rights for people, not for corporations. Sure, this is a strong position, I guess. We have a vision. This is where everything gets shit up. African American, white, Latino, Asian, Indian, Middle Eastern. It's just fucking stupid, dude. Don't either say America's working people or talk about these people in a specific context. But do not bunch them all together, because this looks like diarrhea, basically. Middle Eastern, Asian, Latino. No. It's the fucking. You're making this stupid, dude. These are all qualitatively different. Okay, some of these are immigrants. Some of these are people from California and Texas, so they're nationally adjacent to Mexico in some kind of way. Some of them are also immigrants among Latinos. And then white and African Americans. Well, African Americans have a national basis here. That's what that whole ADOS thing was about. That's what that whole American descendants of slaves was about. So don't just throw these all in one basket, because these are all different, okay? And this is stupid. This is stupid, dude. This is stupid. This is stupid. Either say America's working people or deal with these all in a specific context. Do not equate them in a sentence. It's bad optics. It looks stupid, okay? Just say America's working people. That's it. If some racist has an issue that some of America's working people are not white, they can be dealt with. You don't have to qualify America's working people with fucking intersectional virtue signaling, which is all this shit here is. All this is fucking virtue signaling because you're too scared just to say America's working people by itself. Just say it by itself. If someone's racist, you can call them out. You don't have to fucking prepare yourself for the racist. All you're doing is telling working class Americans that you preemptively think they're racist before the fact and have to emphasize that America's working people are diverse. We all know it's diverse, okay? We know it's diverse. You don't have to say it. You look like a fucking cretin when you say it. You look cringe when you say it. You look like a virtue signaler. Men and women, LGBTQ, straight, yeah, oh my god, young and old. What else? What's left? Look at how everything's thrown in one bunch. This is horrific optics. Horrific fucking optics. CPUSA sounding like Cuomo. Exactly, dude. Why don't they do anything to distinguish themselves from the establishment? They sound the fucking same. They sound exactly the fucking same.
New Yorker, we are one community. As a New Yorker, I am a Muslim. As a New Yorker, I am Jewish.
Shut up, Cuomo. This is so stupid. This is our vision for Socialist USA. This needs work. This needs a lot of work. If I was the editor of this, my red pen would be everywhere. This needs a lot of work, okay? Lots and lots of work. And it only has 2 comments. This needs work. Lots and lots of it.